Anywhere you go, you belong. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
Okay, what is up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing good. So, like always, guys, if you are new to the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and hit the bell as well. If you don't want to miss any streams or uploads in the future, feel free to check my Telegram, link in the description, share my trades, watches for the week, videos I create. So feel free to check it out if you want to stay in the loop. And if you are looking for a broker, I do have my affiliate link to IC Markets at the top of the chat. Feel free to check them out if you want to. But yeah, guys, welcome back to another stream. Blessing, what is up? Good morning, Euro, JPY, NAS. Okay, we'll take a look. The lovely duo. Fortune, what is up? I'm doing good. Hope you are doing well too. Good morning, Ross. What is up? Hope you got my reply yesterday. It was a little bit late, but did manage to squeeze it in. Bradley, what is up? Good morning. Hope you're doing good. Welcome to the stream. Henrique, same with you. Welcome to the stream. Euro pound. Okay, we'll take a look. No problem. And what is up? Welcome to the stream. Kind of look at Euro USD, pound USD. No problem. Sculpey TFX, what's up? I'm doing good. Hope you are too. Morning, Anus, as always. Welcome to the stream. HD, what is up? Ross, please answer my email here if you don't mind, or I can write here as well. Yeah, I did reply to you yesterday, Ross. Pretty sure I did. Pretty sure I sent it. But yeah, check your email or your junk or whatever. But I'm pretty sure I did send the email yesterday. Anyway, so Euro JPY, NAS, we'll go through Euro Pound, Euro USD, Pound USD as well. Okay, so yeah, JPY pairs have been a little bit bearish this morning, or coming over the night into the Asian session into London, have been a little bit bearish. But Euro Yen for me, I still do favor more upside. However, we're starting to form some smaller consolidation here, which is not the best signs for the bulls, but still the overall sentiment for me is still very much to the upside. Still looking for price to return back to the highs here at 158. Again, impressive sell-off to the downside, breaking structure back up again. If we can hold this, I'm expecting price to complete that journey back to the highs at 158. Now, we're not really too far from the highs, so we're kind of just within that kind of higher time frame resistance. So we could see the market kind of move a little bit correctively, and that's kind of what price is doing at the moment. But I still do favor another push back to 158. And whether the price breaks through that, not too sure. I mean, overall high time frames are still pretty bullish in my books, but obviously the fact that the market did fail at the highs is not a good sign for the buyers, and maybe it's a time for a deeper retracement. But for Euro Yen, I still do favor a push higher coming back into this area. We're not quite actually there yet. Maybe about a pip or so away from the actual levels. So if you come a little bit deeper, throw some wicks to the downside, see a nice shift in momentum, there could be some nice buys around 156, 100, 200 we'll call it. And then yeah, expecting to see another bullish swing, at least back to the highs here. This is kind of where price is consolidating, but you know, back to the daily and the weekly highs as well makes a lot of sense too. So yeah, Euro Yen, not gonna lie, starting to turn into a bit of consolidation, but I do think we can have one more move to the upside. NAS, yeah, indices looking a little bit bearish here. Failing at the highs, they're not potentially the best sign for the buyers as well. But we are still coming into this area of confluence, which is what I was talking about yesterday. If we can hold this area, I do favor another push to the upside. Again, coming back into that same resistance, and then potentially the highs there as well. We potentially could see a bit of a bear flag, which is this big old impulse to the upside. Correction 1, possibly correction 2, and then actually come back and retest this area here as well. So that's also what I'm thinking for NAS, because I was looking for the retest of this area when we had the drop to the downside, but we formed a higher low, didn't quite make it. Then we started this kind of corrective journey to the upside. But the fact that the market's failing at the highs might mean that we could be seeing that one more bearish leg to the downside, take out some of these weaker lows, come and test this level here, which hasn't had the retest yet, and then possibly see the next high low from that area. So that's kind of what I'm looking for US 100 in terms of the structure, in terms of how everything's shaping up. So we've got two areas of confluence to keep an eye on. Number one, prices in the first one now. We need to see some good wicks and some good rejection from this area. So far, everything's looking pretty bearish. So we need a lot more evidence that the market's going to hold onto that level now. If we just break through, see a strong close below, then I believe the bigger bull flag is at play. Probably going to see another drop to the downside into this area, and then possibly, if things look good, we'll probably see some nice buys back up again. But because the market structure is still up, we're still seeing higher highs and higher lows, still getting very long, bullish impulses to the upside. So my buys for NAS for US 100 is still very much to the upside until we break through some major structure, aka down at these lows here. So I'm still favoring buys. Either we hold this area at 15,500, or we have one more push down, come back to 15,200, and then possibly see some buys further down. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for US 100. Hopefully that made sense. Euro pound, Euro USD, pound USD, we'll take a look at next. Okay, yeah, pound USD, we'll take a look, Bradley, no problem. Tues, what is up? I'm doing good. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Okay, where was it? Oh, wow. Didn't scroll down. There's a lot more comments than I thought. Rohan, what is up? Welcome to the stream. These few days, weeks haven't been good. Yeah, I mean, I've had past. Oh, there's quite a lot of star in there. Past 3 trades for me, Euro Swiss, and then 2 NZD USD positions were losses for me. So the past 3 trades were losses. Which isn't particularly great, but it isn't out of the norm. 3 losses. I probably had that about maybe 3, maybe 2, maybe 3 other times this year so far. 2 or 3 at least, probably 3 other times I've had 3 losers in a row this year. So that kind of sequence of taking 3 losses in a row is perfectly normal. Obviously it's not ideal, but in terms of looking at my data, my collection, my backtesting strategy, my performance last year as well, taking 3 losses in a row isn't out of the norm, and taking 2 or 3 wins in a row as well, not out of the norm either. So past 2 weeks, because again, I don't trade quite often, so a lot of people, if they take 3 losses kind of within the day or within the week, for me might span over 2 or 3 weeks. Few losses, but again, it's perfectly normal with the strategy I have. Again, even someone who has a 80% win rate could still potentially lose 20 trades in a row and obviously win the next 80, although there's quite slim chance of that happening, but it's still definitely a possibility. So just gonna have to take roll with the punches. But yeah, hasn't been the best few trades recently. HD was up, came early. That's good. Whoa, what is it early for you? I can't remember where you are again. Sess, what's up? Morning, welcome to the stream. Pound USD will take a look. Gold will take a look as well. Andreas, good morning. Hope you're doing good. My whole watch list left without me during the agent session. Any pairs you're looking at? I'm pretty much in the same boat as you, to be fair. Tuesday morning, agent session. So early hours of the morning, I had probably about 4 or 5 pairs I was looking at kind of move without me this week, which is quite unfortunate. But it's just what happens sometimes. And we're just gonna have to wait for price to kind of develop, situate itself, and then look for the next setup after that. But a lot of the pairs I'm looking at have already made big moves. Like NZD kind of had a big sell off. Gold big sell off as well. NZD CAD sold off as well. USD CAD, I'm hoping for a retracement there. EUR/USD big move without me. Pound Aussie as well, big move without me there too. So they all happen at pretty much the same time. So it's not that I'm saying that I would have taken all of these trades, because I definitely would have. But I probably would have taken one if they were in London session. Because, again, I don't want to over leverage myself, because they're all very, very similar positions. Pound AUD, AUD/USD, NZD/USD, EUR/AUD. Gold's a little bit different, but they're all very, very similar. NZD CAD, they're all very, very similar positions. So I would have taken at least one. But, of course, all happened outside of my trading hours. Okay, so oops, I went to the spam folder. Thanks for the reply. Please update me at the same time. Okay, no problem, Ross. I don't know why I went to spam, because I'm just replying your email. But yeah, I'll be sure to get back to you. Sculpey TFX, could you have a look at gold, please, buddy? Always appreciate the Yoda knowledge. No problem. Okay, let me take a look at Euro Pound, Pound USD, and Euro USD before I forget. So yeah, Euro Pound straight up. I'm not a fan of Euro Pound in the price action over the past kind of month or so, at least, maybe longer. Yeah, price action has been absolutely rubbish for me. It's just basic consolidation. We've got a big old level on the left on the daily chart, which is kind of causing a lot of friction right now. Price is trying to break through it, then it breaks through, then it comes back above, then it's trying to push away, and it comes back to retest. So I have no idea what price is doing here with clarity. I can see there's a nice downtrend kind of at play here. I mean, nice is kind of a exaggeration. It's a very, very choppy downtrend, to be fair, but it's a downtrend nonetheless. But in terms of looking for clarity in terms to short it, I did have a nice area of value up here, which I was hoping price was going to get to last week, which was this trend line and this big old support level, term resistance confluence. So I was looking for us to get up there, then try and catch some shorts to the downside, but we didn't quite do that. Now we're kind of back at support. And I don't really want to buy the market because, like I said, we do have a bearish trend at play. But I also don't want to sell the market either because it's kind of just moving sideways. And at the same time, we've got a big old level of support running through price. So my analysis coming to the week, or my weekly analysis, I said for Euro Pound, I'm kind of just staying away from this one and waiting for it to start clearing out some lows and keep pushing to the downside, and then naturally look for some pullbacks and take some shorts. Because at that time, we've actually got a nice bearish leg to the downside and another one as well breaking through some important structure. And then that key level in the daily will probably become resistance, and we can probably look to take some shorts off the back of that and continue the trend. This would be of good probability as well, and a good setup in itself. But right now, Euro Pound for me is just very, very messy. So I'm bearish on the pair, but like I said, I'm not finding any clear place to take shorts. I did say maybe looking at resistance up here could be a nice place to short. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but at least you got a safer stop loss up higher. But yeah, I am expecting price to come eventually and take out these lows here, and then once we do that, I'll look for some pullback to take some sells. But yeah, I'm not overly excited to do anything with Euro Pound with this price action. So yeah, that's about as good as it gets with Euro Pound. Very, very choppy pair, but sometimes it does have its moments. But for me, this is not quite its moment. And just because, again, I'm not liking the price action, you guys might see something on a different time frame, or it looks good to you. That's perfectly fine. Take the trades that you meant to take. But for me anyway, and I would imagine for a few people as well, yeah, the price action is not the best. Okay, so I'll take a look at Euro USD and Pound USD next. Okay, so Euro USD, we did see some downside yesterday. We came back and tested this support level. Market looks like it's pulling back up a little bit. So with Euro USD, again, the higher time frames are still bullish for me. This is still the last swing low here on the 4H, which gave us this humongous move to the upside. But we've already got a bit of a bearish trend here. The market is trying to find the support, but each time it does, we keep breaking through it and keep placing successive lower highs. So for me, I'm not really trying to buy Euro USD now, unless we see some break of structure to the upside and some higher highs and higher lows get placed. So maybe if we see something like this, market breaks through, gives me another higher low, and then I'll contemplate looking for some longs. But at the moment, all I'm seeing is lower lows and lower highs. So I think a good sell if we can come back into the same resistance and then possibly drop. We might just be seeing some consolidation, kind of like a bear flag, impulse, correction, and then possibly the next continuation to the downside. So the way I'm looking at Euro USD is still kind of intraday, intra-week bearish. But again, I wouldn't be too aggressive with targets, just because, like I said, high time frames is still bullish here. So even though we've seen some nice bearish momentum, I wouldn't try and push the trade too far. We've got some structure here on the left. We've got some structure here on the left that could be a nice target. Also got this big support level here as well, which is obviously that price swing low, which could be a nice target too, depending how aggressive you want to be with your TPs. But yeah, for me, Euro USD, I'm still favoring more downside. I wouldn't say it's the great time to get short. I can see price is probably testing some structure in the lower time frames, aka this level here. I think up here would be a much safer place for your stop loss as well, but we could potentially sell off from there. But yeah, the way I see Euro USD right now is impulse, kind of correction. I'm looking at the next leg to the downside here. So yeah, short term still bearish on Euro. I was looking at sales for Euro USD this week, but a lot higher, which I don't think we'll see. And Pound USD, something similar as well. This one again come back to lows. This one's actually taking out the lows, unlike Euro USD, which actually respected the lows, so kind of getting that consolidation. Pound USD took out the lows there as well, and it's also broken through the trend line here, connecting the higher lows, and this big old level of support, which is now turning resistance as well. So now that Pound USD is broken through that, we're still seeing successive lower highs, 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 there as well. We possibly could see another correction and another push to the downside. So I'm still kind of intraday, intra-week bearish on both Euro and Pound. I'm still very bearish on AUD/USD and AUD/USD. So I think I'm a big fan of upside in the dollar, just based on all my technicals on all the major dollar pairs. USD CAD as well, I still see more upside for that one too. So yeah, I do favor more downside for pounds. So I think some pullbacks for this one. This is actually not a bad level. If you can actually pull back and retest it, it kind of lines up with the consolidation here on the left, which is this range here. We can come back and retest that consolidation alongside of that level there. Possibly could see the next lower high, next leg to the downside. And again, in terms of targets, quite a few to look at. Some lows here. Again, I wouldn't be too aggressive with the targets because the market on the higher time frames is still bullish. So we could potentially form a higher low at any point. But yeah, the sales still look good. We're still seeing decent momentum as well, as we can see there. So yeah, sales do look good. Let me know what you're looking at for Euro USD and Pound USD as well. Anyway, where was I? So I did Euro USD, Pound USD. I'll take a look at gold as well. Saw what you told me on AUD/USD and AUD/CAD. I think you remember I didn't even get a confirmation from my buyers. I'm stopping and going against the trend. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong inherently about going against the trend. It's just that your win rate of trades going against the trend will be less than your win rate going with the trend. And I think that's kind of universal for whatever strategy you're trading. You're always going to have a tougher time going against the trend than going with the trend. So I still take some counter trend trades, although they're a very small percentage of my trades altogether. Maybe 10-15% of my trades may be counter trend. But even when I wait for my counter trend setups, I'm waiting for a lot of confirmation and just very, very good setups in general, because I know my win rate is going to be less. They're still profitable overall, but I will concede a lot more losses when I do go against the trend. So I say it's always a good tip just to go with the trend, especially if you're not even profitable yet. Just stick going with the trend. That could be a game changer. Ignore all setups against the trend. Sometimes they'll win and you missed out on a trade, but that's not really important at the moment. Just trying to get that profitable mark, and then once you got the profitable mark, you can maybe start to experiment. But yeah, I'm always a big fan of going with the trend. And again, sometimes things will be different. In this case, AUD/CAD, AUD/USD kept falling. In another instance, they may have reversed. So it's a unique situation, but in general, going with the trend does help. Yeah, we'll take a look at gold next. Did you notice that your CHF made a sharp move after your entry and later it came back to your entry again? His stock. Yeah, that's exactly what you mentioned, to be fair. Again, it's something I have noticed that, to be fair, but I don't know to what extent it goes. When you do see a sharp move in direction, how far does it have to go, or how sharp does it have to be for it to consider a sharp move? And before you can use stop loss to entry, stop loss to entry. So I need to go and experiment with that and look back over my data before I do make any adjustments. But yeah, Euro CHF was kind of an example of that scenario playing out. Sinner, what is up? Welcome to the stream. Okay, DXY, we'll take a look. I just had a look at Euro Pound. If you flick through about 10 minutes ago, or maybe less, 10 minutes, you probably see my Euro Pound analysis. Coolants. Now, as in joined to live early, normally and late. Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, good to have you on early as well. Right, nowadays, only trade GU I find very structured and more volatile than Euro. Yeah, Pound USD does move more than Euro USD. In terms of the sharpness of moves, and Euro USD is quite conservative, but it's the most traded asset. So some people don't like trading Euro USD because they feel like it's more manipulated because it's the most traded asset. But I'm not too sure. I think Euro USD is a great pair. It might not have as big moves like Pound USD or Pound Yen or Pound Aussie, but still got some really good moves about it. Anyway, so let me take a look at gold. So yeah, gold, we've seen some downside. Coming into the week, we were favoring some shorts coming into this area. Again, this is one of the trades I missed out on Tuesday morning. Asian session was looking for some shorts around here. Actually, no, not Asian session. This occurred, 8 p.m. So I stopped trading at 5 p.m. This happened at 8 p.m. here, UK time. And we had a nice sell-off to the downside, back to the lows here. So what I'm looking at gold is just kind of big inverse head and shoulder. Which we can see on the daily here, left there, head, and then possibly right shoulder coming into play at this area here, which we're not quite at yet. So I'm looking at inverse head and shoulder playing out. And again, there's two ways to play it. You could wait for the safe entry, the safe kind of opportunity, which is just waiting for that neckline to break, and then looking for your trades above 1980. Because if price does break through 1980, that's very, very significant, because you can see we've bounced off this level multiple times. So if price breaks through this, the uptrend on the higher time frames, is probably just going to see its next bullish leg to the upside, back to the highs. So then after we break through 1980, you're just simply looking for pullbacks and corrections, and just getting in your buy opportunities there. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for gold if you want to play it safe, or you could play a little bit more aggressive and try and anticipate the right shoulder around 1940, 1930, and try and get into your buys a little bit further down. Obviously, slightly higher possibility of catching a losing trade, but obviously risk reward is better. So it's kind of a gift and a curse as well. But it's up to you guys how you want to play it. In terms of my bias for gold, it's still bullish. We are seeing some nice downside trend here, but I do expect it to eventually push bullish, or it could just break structure and continue. So that's why it's a little bit tricky when trying to go for the right shoulder. But yeah, we'll see what happens at 1940. If we start breaking through 1940, then I will switch the bias around and look for a pushback to these lows here. So 1940 is critical for me, and if we can hold that, fantastic. And if we break through 1980, fantastic. And then yeah, this is the next major target I have for gold. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. Nothing at the moment just yet though. Are people looking for buys on gold, or sells, or yeah, I'm interested to know. I'm not looking at anything just yet, but I'm kind of keeping my eye open, because maybe in a week or two, we'll probably get some really nice opportunities, I believe. Okay, so yeah, DXY, I'll take a look. Yeah, there was no pair before that. DXY, we'll take a look, no problem. AUSD, I'm looking for a buy, daily reversal, head and shoulders. Okay, seller, we'll take a look. Pound CHF, Marvin as well, no problem. What's up, Lemon? Is it true that you have converted to Islam? What? When did I say that? Or where did you hear that from? But yeah, that's not true. Okay, HD Euro USD sell. Oh, you took a sell last night. 1.10057. That's brave. We'll go take a look at Euro USD for that entry. Pound Yen, we'll take a look as well. Anish, how is your FTMO challenge? Yeah, I mean, I've only taken 2 trades so far. Well, it's my Forex funds, but I've only taken 2 trades so far. One was a loss last week on NZD, and then a break even on Euro Swiss actually. So I took a loss on my personal, but it was actually a break even on my challenge, because I'm managing my trades and my challenge a little bit differently to my personal. So yeah, it was just only 2 trades so far, break even and a loss. So yeah, still looking for the next opportunity. A lot of opportunities I'm looking at this week kind of played without me, so I'm not too sure how the rest of the week will plan out in terms of opportunities, but of course I'll keep my eyes peeled for some trades. Okay, so DXY was requested. So yeah, DXY again in terms of the higher time frame. So same thing with Euro. We're still seeing lower lows and lower highs. We're still seeing lower lows and lower highs here. So for me, the market is still bearish for the DXY. So overall bearish on the dollar. However, we've obviously got this intraday, intra-week, maybe more intra-week, bullish trend here at play. And the market's actually snapping through some important areas. As we can see here, breaking through, well, trying to break through this one, and broke through that one as well. Thank you so much, Carlos, for subscribing. Appreciate it. If you guys are joining the channel, by the way, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. I really do appreciate it. And thank you to everyone who has liked the video so far. But as you can see, the market's cleared this 101 level, and looks like it's trying to break through 102 over here. You can see yesterday's candle here did pull back just underneath it. So yesterday's candle was quite significant. And it's going to be interesting to see what we do with today's candle. Today's candle still has 13 hours-ish left to go. But if we do see the market pull back again and give us another big wick above that level again, then we could be seeing DXY taking the tumble back to this area down here. So that could mean a lot more downside. Thanks so much, Raddy. Yep, saying that completely wrong, for subscribing. But yeah, possibly could see another move down if we get that wick above 102. If we get a candle closure, then it's telling us, okay, we're actually going to most likely fill the wick, and we could be looking at a retest on tomorrow, so Thursday, and continuations higher up. There's some areas up here which could be of some importance. 102,800 here. That could be of important level there too. So yeah, DXY is kind of in a critical area. That yesterday's candle close is a quite significant one. But as we're trading above that level at the moment, if we stay above from a daily perspective, I'll be expecting DXY to give us something like this to 102,800. If we see at some point today a big crash below, and by the end of the day we get another wick, then we could be looking at some shorts and a push back down again. So yeah, that's kind of my verdict on the DXY. Critical level, waiting for the daily candles to close to kind of paint the full picture, because obviously on the lower time frames it looks like we're getting a break and retest, but again, you know, all it takes is one H candle or one full H candle just to break us below, and then by the end of the day things look very, very different. So daily candle does have it holds more importance, more significance, so that's why I'm waiting for the daily. But yeah, we could be looking at a push to 102,800 or push to 101,200, and I'll probably give you a much better assumption tomorrow after today's candle closure. So yeah, I'm kind of on the fence a little bit with the DXY, but obviously longer term, all I'm seeing is lower lows and lower highs. So longer term, I do favor sells, but we might see some more upside first before the sell-off, or we might just start selling off from here. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm taking from the DXY at the moment. Pound yen we'll take a look at, pound CHF and pound yen we'll take a look at, and AUSD as well. So pound yen, I'm still looking at buys. I'm still not eyeing up buys for this one. I'm looking at buys around 181, I believe. Is it? Yeah, just underneath 181. So I'm still looking at buys down here. Again, yesterday I said I'm not too sure price will make it down here. It's looking pretty bearish, so there's a possibility we could get there. And if we do, I will be looking for my entries. You know, what I'm looking at is just a simple, you know, connecting the highs there. Obviously, break me test of the low. And I'm treating this as a big fake out of that region. So I'm looking for price to come back and retest it. We've broken through some structure to the upside, see the next high low, continuations to the upside, and revisit the highs there at 183, 184-ish. So yeah, for me, pound yen, still very, very bullish on the pair. But it looks like we're seeing some downside right now. I'm not looking to sell. I can see we've broken out some outside of some consolidation. But I'm not really looking to do anything with that. There may be some retest to go to the downside there on the retest, which does make sense, but again, not really my trade. Higher time frames for me are still bullish, so I'm still kind of looking to follow that higher time frame momentum if I can find some nice confluence to do that with, and I can down here. So kind of just waiting for pound yen to come to me, sort of thing. 181 is kind of where I'm looking to get involved. So if pound yen can get there, I'll start looking for some entries to get involved. But yeah, still bullish in pound yen, looking for a pullback. We'll see if we can get one. And looking for price to revisit 184 up at those highs. If I take a look at pound Swiss, and I'll take a look at Aussie dollar on the daily. Pound Swiss, seeing some upside. Looks like we've got a break and retest of this high here. Yeah, pound Swiss, again, this is kind of just consolidation. Overall, the trend is very much down if you zoom out, look at the bigger picture, but right now price keeps respecting the same level of support, so it's a very, very key support that if we do eventually break through this, I do think the floodgates will open and we'll probably see price start melting to the downside, because all of this is just a big consolidation and price is building up, getting ready for, you know, a big move. It may be to the upside, it may be to the downside, and if it is the downside, I think there's a good chance we're just going to come back right down to these lows here. But obviously that's nothing we need to focus on right now, because price is still respecting the same support. So I'm not too sure with pound CHF. From a daily perspective, consolidation, price is respecting the lows here. We could see another swing back to the high of the range. We might see price move halfway and come back down again. that's kind of 50-50 at the moment. I'm not really seeing a high probability trade. I understand we are seeing a nice break and retest here, so maybe some buys intraday look good, or did look good because we've already had the break and retest. But I wouldn't be looking to get into any trades now. Price is very choppy. We're in the middle of consolidation. Maybe some sells up here, possibly. If you can see a push into 1.132, that could look interesting there, but that's probably about it with pound CHF because of how we're moving. Consolidation. Don't really want to try and second guess the market here. Naturally speaking, buys down here make a lot of sense. Sells up high make a lot of sense as well. That's kind of the best way to play the consolidation. And at the moment, we're kind of in between. We're kind of coming into the middle of the range, which is kind of the most uncertainty, the most speculative part of the range, the middle. So that's a nice place that you want to stay away from. But if you come high, then sells look good. Come back down low, obviously anticipating another bounce until eventually we get the breakout. But yeah, pound CHF, not a big fan. And AUD, USD, don't know what I just said there. You're looking for the inverse head and shoulder, which does make sense because you're looking at this, I presume. Your price coming back into this area here. So this is obviously the left shoulder there, the head over there, and then kind of like a weird right shoulder, but it does add up. So I understand what you're looking at from a technical perspective. It does make sense. I'm not a big fan of it because the trend for me is still very much down on the higher time frame. So obviously on the daily, it kind of just looks sideways. But if we do scale to the higher time frames, weekly, we can see the market still comfortably in a downtrend here. So I'm actually expecting price to eventually push back to these lows here. And I'm expecting this support here to fail. Likewise with this support as well. And expecting price to return back to the lows there. So for me, Aussie dollar, I'm not looking for any buys anymore. Maybe some buys later on. There might be a nice pullback you can take advantage of. So I don't want to say no completely, but predominantly just looking for sells and some good pullbacks to short. Yes, we could do that inverse head and shoulder, but I think the probability is with the bears on this one. So the probability of this working out for me is a lot less than maybe if it was kind of flipped and we're seeing a head and shoulder to go down. I think that head and shoulder will have a lot more probability because it's with the direction of the higher time frames versus the inverse head and shoulder, which is kind of against it. So yeah, in terms of what you're looking at, it does make sense. It does kind of fit the pattern, but for me, it's just against that higher time frame trend. So I'm not a big fan of it. So yeah, I'm kind of waiting to see if price can break through, look for some pullbacks after that, and start looking for some more shorts. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for AU. Okay, so let me see, where was I? So yeah, pound GM, pound USD, DXY, EuroCAD. Okay, Martin, we'll go take a look at EuroCAD. Sharif, how do you know if you're in the impulse leg of the move or a pullback? Just look at the characteristics of how price is moving. For example, if you look at this market here, you can see where the momentum is to the downside. And also look at the highs and lows. If the market keeps making lower lows and lower highs, then normally speaking, the move which is making the lower low is the impulse leg. If the market is moving to the upside like so, this is the impulse leg, this is the impulse leg, this is the impulse leg, and this is the pullback, this is the pullback, and then this here would be the pullback, and then this here will be the impulse. So pullback is obviously anti-trend, impulse is with trend. Sometimes they don't always show that in their characteristics. Like for example, if you look at this is quite impulsive, but the market is still making lower lows and lower highs. So I would still look at that as retracement. You can see here, this is a nice impulse leg to the downside. This is corrective here. Then the market eventually breaks the downside. You can see it's quite impulsive. This is a little bit impulsive here, but still, the retracement of that pullback, retest some structure, another impulse to the downside. Slight correction there as well. So yeah, just look at structure, highs and lows. That will tell you the direction of the trend, and whichever is creating the new lows, or if it's in the downtrend creating the new lows, or in the uptrend creating the new highs, that leg is the impulse, and the one after that would be the pullback. Joseph, what is up? Good morning. Please update me on US30 and Euro USD. Okay, we'll take a look at some indices. We haven't looked at US30 yet, so I'll take a look. I'm going to take a look at Euro USD for HD as well, so no problem. CAD Swiss, Fortune, we'll take a look, no problem. Aliens D, okay, MASH, Peso, a lot of pairs, Bitcoin. No problem, Ross. Happy to help. See you tomorrow as well. And it's still waiting on Euro USD for last week. Low to be taken out, but I don't like the structure. I'm not finding an entry. Okay, I mean, so is it in terms of the structure you don't like, or is the structure okay, but you just can't find an entry to get involved? Because yeah, I mean, I did say for Euro USD, I'm still expecting downside, but I would not anticipate, but it would be nice if price was maybe to come back and kiss the highs again and then sell off and kind of give us this kind of impulse here and then kind of consolidation and then next drop. So that makes sense to me. But yeah, I mean, you're always going to find an entry for your trades, which is unfortunate as well, especially when you got the direction down in terms of just probability in your favor. But sometimes you just don't get the entry, and again, I know that very, very well. But yeah, you might be right. We might just see price sell off as well, and yeah, not going to be involved in every position, but it definitely would be nice. So yeah, I do definitely agree with you in terms of more downside. I'm expecting more downside for Euro, but if the market doesn't give us an entry to get involved, it doesn't give us an entry to get involved. And again, this is also a test of your discipline as well, because sometimes when you see a good opportunity from an analytical point of view, from a direction, you can see, okay, price is most likely going to move up, but you don't find a good entry to get involved. A lot of people will just look to just place some trades and get involved because, okay, I can't get an entry, but I know the direction's up, let me just get involved. And that's when it can get ugly, because now you're just breaking your plan. If you take some losses unnecessarily, you're going to be annoyed with yourself. So it's also a test of the discipline as well. But I definitely hear you there, Anus. I agree with the bias as well, looking for more downside. HD, where do you say your entry was? 1.1005. So that's around here-ish. Okay, so you entered on the retest of this area. Oh, wow, that is very, very late hours. That's kind of coming into the Asian session there. But are you still in the trade? Looking good. But yeah, nice little retest of that consolidation. Looks like price is going to continue south. But yeah, I'm bearish here on Euro and Pound as well. So in terms of direction, looking at this happening. And then we've got some lows here we can target too. But yeah, we do have an established bearish trend on our midst here. But yeah, from a DXY perspective, I'm still waiting for a bit more information, but Euro for me still looks bearish. No, not at the moment, Marvin. Not at the moment. But soon come. Great analysis and the video, Miko. Thank you. Been a follower for about 2 weeks or so. Nice. Welcome to the channel. Glad you're enjoying it. Martin, since I listened to you, my trading changed so much. Good to hear. What aspect though? What aspect has changed? Is there a particular thing or just in general? I'm keen to see how it's improved. Okay, Aussie dollar, we'll take a look. Bitcoin, free request for that one too. Emmanuel, DXY this week and not the whole month. Okay, for this week, yeah, I'll take a look at the DXY, but DXY for me, I'm kind of neutral until we break through or hold the level, which I'll explain in a second. Abdul, sells on CAD Chef. Yeah, I was meant to take a look at CAD Chef, wasn't I? I'll take a look at it in a second. Goal as well. What's up, Jimmy? Thank you so much for coming to the stream. Appreciate it. Poppy, next time I say I'm going to change how I trade, please remind me it's not a good idea. I tend to focus on what I get wrong, even when I'm profitable. Yeah, I mean that's just like a natural kind of human instinct to trying to correct what you've done wrong. I have that urge as well. Like when you take a loss, you feel like, is there something that I didn't see? Is there something that I missed? I need to correct this somehow because I should be looking to win a trade. And if I lost, I've done something that's incorrect. But a lot of the time, as long as you followed your plan, you didn't do anything wrong. Every system you ever trade, any strategy you ever trade will always have losers, always have a series of losers, losing streaks. That will always be a theme with every strategy you take. And that's kind of the cycle that a lot of people get caught in, and me, myself included as well, is that you find a strategy, it works well, and then you experience a few losers, and the few losers you experience makes you put doubt on the strategy, and then you find another strategy and you go through the same cycle of, okay, it's going well, new losers, new strategy. So it's kind of that cycle, but you never really see the strategy through, through the losers, through the winners, and over a long period of time. So my biggest advice is basically what you said there, to be fair. Stick through the strategy, even through the losing streaks. Even if the losing streak is very, very, very bad. Even if the losing streak is very bad, I'm like taking like 15 or 20 losers. See that through. Of course, have it on a small account or a demo account first, but see it through, because either it's going to tell you one or two things. Number one, the strategy may not work, or number two, you may not know how to trade the strategy. So you got two options there. Learn more about the strategy, find a new one. And when you do that, you absolutely know that, okay, the strategy is not for you, then you can move on. So it makes sense to do that. But if you just move on after a few losers, then you never know really. Most of the time, the strategy does work. In my opinion, pretty much all strategies do work. Anyway, so let's take a look at CAD Swiss. There's a bunch of pairs I'm meant to get through. I'll scroll back up and take a look. But CAD CHF, I'm still very bearish on. It hasn't taken out these lows, which I'm expecting price to eventually do. Wait, has it? No, it hasn't. So I'm expecting price to eventually take out these lows here. Again, the higher time frames for me for CAD Swiss is still very, very short. Still seeing a bunch of low lows and low highs. It's the weekly time frame, by the way. So I'm still looking at a lot more downside for CAD Swiss. But right now, price action is a little bit choppy. It's kind of consolidation. Potentially, we could just hang on to the resistance here and sell off again. Not really my type of trade. I'm looking for price to pull up a little bit higher. I do like this area up here. Nice broken support there on the left. Around around 0.66200. If you could see the market kind of push into that area, I would like to see a reaction here, and then possibly some sells there, or even deeper potentially. I'm not too sure if we'll get all the way up here, but that would have been a nice level to sell from, 0.67200. But this for me is the next best place, around 0.66200. So that's kind of where I'm looking for my sells. Here's just a little bit too choppy. It looks like consolidation to me, but if price can push up a little bit higher, take out these highs, and then probably give us the next high for that big drop to the downside, back into these lows here. So CAD Swiss, I'm pretty short bias, looking for more downside, but at the moment not really seeing much here. We may just respect that high and fall over, but this is definitely my area of interest, which I'm going to be speaking about for a couple of weeks now, which we're not too far away from. So I do think we can probably get there. But I'm pretty short, because again, this is our humongous impulse to the downside, and I'm looking at this as our correction, and then expecting the next impulse. So that's kind of the plan and the thought process behind my analysis there for CAD Swiss. Looking at impulse, correction, impulse again to the downside. Okay, so where was it? EuroCAD, US 30, and peso. Okay, so EuroCAD for me, I was looking for some downside off the back of this area here yesterday. Again, we were placing all these lower highs, 2, 3, 4, 5. I was looking for another one on the retest of that level. Never got it. Price just broke to the upside. No real shift in momentum. And now price is pushing back into some resistance here on the left. May actually be breaking through it a little bit. So for me, for EuroCAD, again, the bias for the intraday was bearish, or intra-week I should say was bearish, but we're struggling to break through this prior support level here. I mean, resistance there acting as support. So we may be seeing the start of a reversal. If the market can start breaking through some structure, start giving some higher highs and higher lows, I do think we can probably find some nice buys going back up again on a retest of some structure if we can snap through some highs, aka this level here on the left. Breakthrough 1.46995 pullback, that becomes a very nice buy. But yeah, I'm not really a big fan of the sells anymore. The fact that we respected the lows here, the support level, it looks like we may break for the resistance. That's not what you want to see in terms of a bearish trend. You want price to be breaking the lows and obviously not breaking the highs. That's what a healthy trend looks like. The fact that the market's respecting the lows, it looks like it's going to break through that resistance, is showing signs of a reversal, or at least maybe a counter trend position. So for me, for EuroCAD, if we can break through the highs and fully reverse, then we can just look for some pullbacks and follow momentum back up again. Again, high time frames are kind of mixed, to be fair. But if you can start breaking structure, you may just see a big impulse here, correction, and the next impulse to the upside. But that break of structure up there is a must though. So yeah, EuroCAD I think could be looking to change direction, but I need a little bit more evidence first before we start looking for some buys. US 30, we'll take a look at that one. I'll move on to peso after. So US 30 looks like it's fading at the highs here. So it might be time for the indices to retrace. The indices have been very, very bullish over the past few days, couple of weeks. It may be time for us to retrace. Again, we've broken through a very substantial level here. And I think this is a great level for looking for some pullbacks in the higher time frames. If you can come back, retest 34,600, I think that's a great place to be looking for some longs in the next kind of major swings to the highs, which is up there at 36,800. So that possibly could be what's coming into play. At the moment, the 4H hourly, we're just fading at the highs here. So it might be the start of a retracement. But I want to see evidence that the market is breaking through some more lows, because at the moment we did break through some lows here. Now we've moved back to the highs again. We broke through some more lows here, but we could just use that to move back to the highs as well. So I want to see price actually start breaking through some major lows, and then after that, some pullbacks, retesting some structure. This becomes a very nice short opportunity, maybe looking to retest some structure up there. So with US 30, it looks like we're getting some evidence that the market is looking to retrace. Obviously, we're fading at the highs there. We've got 1, 2, now 3. If we can start breaking through some lows, that'll tell me that, okay, buyers failing to push price higher, sellers successfully breaking through structure. Let's start looking for some pullbacks to short this to the downside, and we've got a nice little level to target down at 34,600 as well. So the shorts are starting to become a very nice idea here for US 30, but I think it's still a little bit early to be looking for some shorts just now. The trend for me is still up. We need to break through some significant lows first before the sales become valid, at least in my books anyway. And then, yeah, some shorts after that do look good. But, yeah, the trend's still up for me as of yet. Peso, Bitcoin we'll take a look at as well. Dollar, yen, Adian's deal, we'll not forget that one. I wasn't over trading. I was staying in trades for too long. Yeah, again, it's just a lack of lack of forcing that planning yourself, lack of that discipline. And again, that's one of the hardest part of trading. That's one of the hardest part of trading, if not the hardest. Probably, yeah, it probably is the hardest part of trading, to be fair. Is having that discipline to get out when you're supposed to get out, take the trades you're meant to, and not take the trades you're not meant to. That's what the hardest bit about trading is, because all you're effectively doing, all trading really is just following your trading plan, and that's it. Just following your strategy. Whenever you see a setup, you take the trade, win, lose or draw, and when you see another opportunity, you take that trade too, and that's what you're doing. You're just doing that action repeatedly, and of course, if your system is profitable, then the sum of those actions equal profit, and that's exactly what trading is. So when you do steer away from that plan, that's when things become not healthy as obviously you're experiencing now. So yeah, I mean, the market will always teach you the exact same lesson over and over again until you correct the mistake. It's taught me many times, just staying true to your plan is the correct thing to do. Every time I veer away from my plan, sometimes you do take a win, which gives you false hope as well, which is very difficult to break as well. When you do take a win outside of your plan, it gives you reasons to break your plan again in the future. But in the long run, it's not systematic. So yeah, the market will keep giving you the same lesson until you eventually learn it. And if it's breaking your plan or holding trades for too long or over trading or fear of missing out or XYZ, keep teaching you until you correct it. No problem, Marvin. Happy to help. It's like the NBA players and boxers, they have to rewatch the match on film to see they're really capable rather than changing the whole system or saying, I could say do this, that. Journaling brings awareness. Yeah, 100%. Journaling is very important because it shows you mistakes, it shows you your flaws, it shows you what you're doing well. And again, the more detail you go into your journal, the more you're going to get out of it and the more consistent you're with it as well. It's just journaling is very tedious. It's not very glamorous journaling. So it's just very overlooked. No one's going to check up on you if you haven't journaled. No one's going to check your journal. Oh, you haven't journaled this week. What are you doing? It's up to you. So something you can easily brush under the carpet, but something that's so vital for your longevity in the game. And Anus is pretty much summing up very, very well there. Anyway, let's take a look at peso and then take a look at Bitcoin after. So yeah, USD peso still bearish for me. Market still consistent low. This one's been falling to the downside for a very, very long time. Very long time. Since 2021 December, just consistent lower lows and lower highs. Really lovely retest of structure as well. And yeah, giving some really nice opportunities, and looks like price maybe doing that as well. We had it not too long ago. Now price is coming back into the same area there too. So yeah, in my book, I'm still favoring sells for peso here. We're coming back to some nice structure. We're seeing some nice momentum, nice shift there. That's actually a very nice entry candle as well. And I would favor peso to come right back down to the lows here and to continue that trend. We'll come back into a nice area of confluence. Spike 1 over there, 2, 3, back into this price support there on the left, term resistance. Aggressive wick there to the upside, nice shift of momentum. That looks like a very nice opportunity for more downside. So yeah, I do really like this opportunity in peso. I do favor another swing back to the lows here. I would say maybe this could be a nice little first take profit, just in case the market starts to dance around at the lows. But in terms of direction for peso, yeah, bearish bias, and that looks like a really good opportunity if you want to trade peso, of course. But you can see very consistent break and retest of structures for quite a while now. Structure breaks, retest, structure breaks, retest. Been doing that for quite a while. Market's still moving to the downside. Eventually we're going to reverse, of course, but if it's not broken, don't fix it. If the market keeps giving you low lows and low highs, keep looking to take those trades until obviously reverses. And that's kind of my thought process behind it. But yeah, peso favoring another move back to 16.63. Moving on to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, nice sell-off yesterday, but a very aggressive recovery as well. Again, for me, Bitcoin really hasn't done too much to convince me that we're looking for our next bullish leg just yet. I did say 28,400 is kind of the area I'm looking for Bitcoin to come into before I see what's going on for potentially some buys. We've kind of just missed it by a little bit. It would be nice if we'd have wicked into the zone there, then I'll be a bit more confident with a move to the upside. But Bitcoin for me has still got a big obstacle in its way, which is obviously this support, which was the low of the range here, which is what we were ranging for quite a while. And now the market's broken through the range, and now it's kind of back for a retest. But obviously this wick here is very, very aggressive and give me some heebie-jeebies. So although we're retesting a nice level of structure, I wouldn't be so over the moon to sell it, because this to me looks like the market's kind of faked out through some lows and potentially placing a higher low for a bigger move up. So that's the only thing I don't like about the structure. But other than that, it's retesting a nice level, big wick there to the upside. So I do think some downside is likely. And possibly we could come and test that level there, possibly. but I just don't like how it retraced. Too aggressive, doesn't really fit the characteristics of a pullback. You can see the nature of the pullbacks previously, very corrective. So these are really nice opportunities to take some shorts. And I did say coming into the week, a nice short off this level here looks good. That's kind of what happened. But now with that aggressive move, Bitcoin's the characteristics are starting to change a little bit. So although from a technical standpoint, it looks like a great place to sell from, I'm not too sure how far we're going. So yeah, that's kind of my verdict on Bitcoin. I just don't like that wick, way too aggressive. But as long as we stay below that, I would favor sell. So my bias is short for now, at least. As long as we stay below there, is short, break above, then that will put some question marks on my bearish bias. Okay, so where was I? ADND is that one I'm taking a look at next? I believe so. Okay, so I'll take a look at AUDNZD and I'll take a look at dollar yen after. Excuse me. Okay, let me just catch up with the chat. Back to your system and see if it works in the replay mode. It will help you to become more confident. I think that the journal every day, see what the models. Yeah, and also for me as well, which I've started doing since the start of the year, is record every single opportunity that the market presents to you that fits your plan. Because obviously sometimes you're not there to take a trade. Sometimes you don't really like the trade, even though it fits your plan, it just doesn't quite do it for you. Record every single setup, every single setup that you get that fits your plan. And number one, it's very good for confidence. If you do have a profitable strategy, you see that it's just working consistently. Of course, you have losses, losing streaks, but overall, your P&L will be in the green. And it shows to you, the flexibility of your strategy as well. How every setup might not look as good, but if they're still playing out, it still gives you confidence to take your trades too. And it's a good habit. A good habit builds practice, and it helps you kind of recognize your patterns when they appear a bit more. Bit more reflex-like. So instead of just you trying to analyze the market, see where the price is going, you kind of just scanning through. Okay, there's a pattern that I'm looking to trade. I'm looking for my entry. So it makes it a bit more. It makes you just see the setups very easily. So I'll suggest just record every single trade that fits your plan. And just record that, and by the end of the year, you kind of got that full year of pretty much every single trade, and it shows you, you're green. So all you have to do is just keep doing the same thing, and it shows you as well that if you miss out a trade, it doesn't really matter as well, because there's always another trade around the corner too. But yeah, I mean, that's how I back tested my strategy. Replay mode on TradingView, go back a few years, and just take the trades. Anyway, so what else I was going to take a look at next? AUDNZD, dollar yen, and euro yen. Okay, we'll take a look at those. Okay, so AUDNZD, last time I looked at that one, it was pretty bearish. Yes, still kind of is bearish. So yeah, we're still seeing lower lows and lower highs here. We had a nice little reversal here. You can see price was, if we go to the hourly time frame, was giving us these lower highs, broke through some structure here, and since then we've been consistent with the lower highs as well. This was a nice little retest this morning, coming back to some levels there. So for AUDNZD, expecting price to probably break through this support level. Probably break through that support level and continue down, because I'm expecting price to come back to these lows here eventually. I'm kind of looking at this one as a big range. We kind of had a big double top there, so I'm expecting from a daily perspective us to drop down into this level here. So that's why I'm favoring this support level there to break. But yeah, definitely short bias on the lower time frames. If you're looking for entries, it may have left the station here. We may already be on a bike right now, so it's probably a missed opportunity. But if price does come back up again, we possibly could see another opportunity to sell and look for some trades around there, around 1.07993. So possibly if you do see a pullback, there are some opportunities, but for me, I think this one has left the station. If you're looking for buys, and of course, it makes sense looking at some support down there. But again, for me, the trend's still very much to the downside, so I'm not really looking for any type of reversal, any type of counter trend play. I'm kind of just looking for those shorts attacking that trend. If we do start breaking structure to the upside, so clear above the highs there, above these highs, then yeah, buys do make sense above that. Maybe looking for a nice little break and retest of the structure here. At that point, we've got some higher lows in our direction. And then looking for the retest there makes sense, and then we can take some buys to the upside. Those can be our targets. So the buys after that will make sense, but of course we need that move to happen first. And at the moment, everything's looking bearish. So you're looking at some pullbacks, shorts, back down to lows, and then possibly a breakout as well. But yeah, definitely short buys for AUD NZD. Dollar yen, bullish buys for this one. Seeing some nice retracement. Again, I'm still looking at this being another major high low in the daily time frame. So my direction is very much to the upside. We've got a nice low there, high, low, high, possibly the new low. Nice little double bottom, and I'm looking for price to reach this consolidation up there around 145. So I said last week, if we can see some nice pullbacks for this one, retesting some structure, I do think we can get some nice longs and follow that momentum. These are kind of the areas I'm looking at, 142 and also 141, 350. These are the two areas that look good for some longs. Not too far away, so we could see price spill over a little bit further, maybe coming to New York session, maybe some buys later on, or maybe tomorrow. It's up to price. But in terms of direction for me, dollar yen, I do see more upside. So back to 144.500, back to the swing highs. And again, if you look at the high time frames, everything is still pretty bullish for dollar yen. Weekly as well, trajectory is still very much up. So I do like the buys. Got a lot of wind in our sails. And just waiting for a good level to take the buys from. So keep an eye on those areas there. But that's what I'm looking at for dollar yen. Okay, so where am I? DXY bears, be ready. I'm still waiting for the DXY to give me a daily candle closure. Because as I was explaining previously, that DXY, we got a major level support here on the daily, which gave us a big wick yesterday. So that's a very, very big wick, piercing through that level and pulling back below. So it's a sign that the market's struggling to break through 102, which is definitely a sign for the bears. But this candle here is obviously breaking through. So if we can see this current daily candle, which has roughly around 12, 13 hours left before closing, if we can see a repeat of that and see another wick piercing through the level, market by the end of the day closing back below, then yeah, I think Thursday, Friday, we're looking at shorts for a move to the downside, most likely. But if we see a candle closure above the level here, we may just see price go and fill the wick on the left, back to highs, and possibly into that next level around 102.800 there. So if we do see that by the end of the day, I wouldn't really be on the bear side of things for the DXY, and I would be favoring more upside. This trend here still might have some mileage in it and still may want to push further. So I'm kind of waiting for the DXY to close on the daily before I set a bias for that one. But yeah, possibly. Okay, so where was I? No problem, happy to help. If we get to the zone that you drew the break and the retest and the 4-day structure, we'll be looking to sell after a gradual liquidity. Okay, makes sense then. Yeah, possibly we could see that move on Euro USD to that level. It's up to price. I think we have some news later today. It's a fairly quiet day today, but we do have some dollar news of like ADP employment change, I believe. High impact on my FX book, so it might cause some ruckus in the charts, but possibly could see a move like that and then the drop to the downside. So keep an eye for it. I mean, this price action here is a little bit weird, so I wouldn't really try and jump into anything in there. But if we can come back to the extremes, back to the highs there, could be a nice place to take some shorts. So yeah, I definitely do agree with that one. Can you please do more videos on how to grow a small account and also more on psychology? Okay. Yeah, I haven't done many on growing a small account. I have done a couple on psychology. If you go through my Forex education playlist, you probably see some there. But a few people have been asking about psychology, so I probably will do some more videos on that, to be fair. Holding to 1.09454. 454. Okay, that's pretty much the lows then. Okay, makes sense there. So yeah, good luck with that one, HD. I mean, looks good. So hopefully price can smash your old TP. And also, as a day trader or swing trader, how many pairs should you have on your watch list? Well, as a swing trader, generally speaking, you're gonna have more on your watch list. Again, I want to kind of preach that there's no wrong or right way to do things with trading. It's a very personal thing. You know, there could be swing traders with 2 pairs on their watch list and they just trade those 2 pairs. Obviously, they're going to be very inactive, but if it works for them, they're making profit. You know, who am I to say add more to your watch list? So I would say, generally speaking, swing traders are going to have more on their watch list. Day traders are going to have less because they're more focused, more precise, because you have to be if you're going to be trading a little bit more quickly, a bit more frequently. So yeah, day trade is going to have less, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs, maybe if you're day trading. Scalping even less, and then swing trading, again, it could be as many as you want. Some swing traders look at pretty much all markets, stocks, Forex, commodities, indices, whatever. They look at a lot of things. For me, I just focus purely on Forex and gold as well. But yeah, gold, swing traders could be 10, 20, even more. So yeah. Ryan, have you ever thought of journaling your trades like other YouTubers? What do you mean? Journaling your trades like other YouTubers and sharing a live spreadsheet? I think it helps a lot. Yeah, I possibly could do that. I mean, I kind of do it with the Telegram anyway, but yeah, I mean, I could do I don't really keep my trades in a spreadsheet anymore, to be fair. I just keep it, since I've gone to Edgewonk, I kind of just keep it in that journal there, which kind of does a nice little equity graph. But yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about getting my Telegram. I mean, Ross pretty much did it, to be fair, in the email. But I've been thinking about getting the Telegram and kind of getting to like a little spreadsheet and record the trades for the year, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, Ross has done that. I should probably share the spreadsheet he created. He went through the trades of my year from January till now. It's created like a nice little table, so I could just share that. But yeah, I probably will do that, to be fair. Writing the same thing 5 times, what we call that, just to wait and get a response. Wait, writing the same thing 5 times, what we call that, just wait you get a response. What does that mean? I'm lost, Anus. Oh, okay, you're talking about the other guy, about spamming. I'll be journaling lately. I'll generally remember what I get wrong. I'm actually getting much better. Before I could only trade at the 100 and 200. Again, yeah, I mean, and journaling is, it's going to show you mistakes. It's going to show you what you're doing right as well. But you need to have something to benchmark the journaling against. So, and that's obviously your plan. So obviously you have your plan, and your journaling kind of just tracks how you're doing according to that plan. So it's kind of just like a reference point. You don't want to just journal just to journal for the sake of journaling. You don't want to just journal because that's not beneficial. You need to journal in reference to something that's obviously your compass, your guiding compass, and that's obviously your trading plan. So when you do journal, obviously keep your plan in mind, and are your actions aligned with your plan? And then that's where you look for room to improvement. And of course, even if your actions are aligned with your plan and you're still journaling, what you're doing, you can probably notice some minute differences and some minute errors that you make, which could obviously improve your trading even better as well. But that trading plan is like the guiding compass, and your journaling plan is kind of like a holding you accountable to the trading plan, if that makes sense. Dollar CAD, yeah, sure, we'll take a look at dollar CAD. I'm looking at some retracement for that pair, actually. So yeah, we'll take a look. At 2645, Euro CAD did bounce from a daily trend line, so upside likely. Yeah, if it does reverse and take up those highs I mentioned, then I do favor more upside there for dollar CAD. I mean Euro CAD, sorry, and dollar CAD too, actually. I used to refine how I take my profits above structure, not on structure, like what I do in the 5 minute. If you know what you need to do, then that's half the problem solved, as I keep saying, because a lot of people just don't know what they're doing wrong. which is perfectly fine. Everyone's going to be in that situation, but definitely a situation you want to get away from. Okay, pound yen 30-minute. We'll take a look too. Miko's example, he's not too stressing too much off the losing streak. Why? Because his data says that you already go through it and come at the back. Exactly. And yes, probably look at what you need to improve in terms of the greed and keep back. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of what the data is there for, is to keep you composed and know that, okay, what I'm actually doing does work over the long term. So, losing streak, I've been in many, and now every single losing streak I've had, I've always come out at the other end. So, it does build up a lot of confidence. Every time you get into a losing streak, it tests your resilience. And then when you come out the other side, everything is beautiful. There's nothing like going for the losing streak and coming out of it. That's just a great feeling. Yeah, I mean, understanding your data, understanding the losing streaks you have in your data, how often you have them, how big is your biggest losing streak, winning streaks as well, keeps you composed in what you're doing. So yeah. Which again, it's difficult to do as well. It's difficult to do just because you got the data to back it up. Yes, it gives you confidence, but at the same time, actually taking those losses, they're painful and difficult to digest. Very, very easy to just follow something else and lose your focus. So at the same time, there has to be that kind of that fight within you that says, I know I'm losing right now, but I'm still going to keep going, still going to take the same trades. And that's a big part of trading. Again, I keep recommending the book, but Best Loser Wins by Tom Hargard. I do recommend to go check it out, and kind of just basically says in a way better way than I'm saying it right now about how losing and overcoming those losses is pretty much what makes a trader. Anyway, so which pair I said I was going to take a look at? Euro Yen, was it? Euro Yen and yeah, okay, Euro Yen I was going to take a look at next. And okay, so yeah, dollar CAD. Okay, I'll take a look at Euro Yen, dollar CAD, pound yen on the 30-minute as well. I already looked at Euro Pound. If you scroll back not long, you'll probably see the analysis to Euro Pound there. And yes, live in the UK, I've looked at Dollar Yen as well. Again, probably about 5-10 minutes ago. But I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the stream. Okay, gold. I'll go take a look at gold. It's been a while since I took a look at gold as well. Okay, so let me go take a look at Euro Yen first. Okay, so Euro Yen, like I said, I am still bullish on Euro Yen. Still looking for upside for this one. It's not quite at the zone yet. It's not quite at the zone. I drew the zone around 156 to 100-ish at the high, and you can see if I zoom in, it's kind of just missed it by a few pips there. But it doesn't change anything really. Still expecting more upside back to 157.892. So that's still where I'm expecting Euro Yen to head towards. Again, we had a big sell off to the downside. This for me is looking like just a big fake out to the downside, taking out some lows here on the left. And now I'm looking at impulse, breaking structure to the upside. And now I'm looking at correction and then a push to the upside at 158. So Euro Yen for me, still very bullish. Right now it's kind of doing some weird consolidation here, but it would be nice if it was to come a little bit deep into the zone, give me some nice wicks, and then we can look for the next push to the upside. So Euro Yen still bullish, still looking at more upside. Again, 158 is definitely the target. We are fading at the highs here, so the market is showing some signs that it could be looking to turn around soon. Definitely, if we do get another third rejection there, that would be a big sign that, okay, the market might just look to tumble over eventually, because we're obviously fading at the highs there. But this is what I'm looking at from a kind of rest of the week sort of outlook. So yeah, definitely bullish on Euro Yen for now. USD CAD. So USD CAD, looking at buys for this one. I was looking for a retest of this area here. It doesn't look like I'm getting it. So for me, USD CAD may have left the station without me. Another one that's left the station. I was going to look at the retest of this level here, but it did happen overnight, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, I'm sleeping at these hours. By the time I'm waking up, price was like around here, 7, 8 a.m. So, the trains left the station, as we like to say. So many situations this week, leaving the train without then what I was trying to say there. Basically missed a bunch of trades. But if it's out of my session, there's nothing I can do. If it's in my session, then it's either I just wasn't at the charts or I was just blind and I didn't see it. If I didn't see it, then that's my fault. There's something I need to work on with my pattern recognition. If I wasn't at the charts at the time, doing something else, then that's perfectly fine. I have to live a life as well at the same time. But if it's just outside of my session, there's nothing really I can do about it. With dollar CAD, I'm still looking at retracement. If it's kind enough to give me some, I'll either look at the high here or the one just below it as well. So both these levels look good. And what we're looking for is just the next high low. Next high low somewhere, and then continuations back to the high here on the left. I was talking about dollar CAD on my weekly analysis because we had a lot of wick rejections into this area here. If I remove all of these little dots, you can see we've got a lot of wicks in this area. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potentially with this week. So I do favor a big move to the upside here for dollar CAD. Taking out this wick here on the left, and then possibly maybe coming back to this area up there at 1.355. So dollar CAD definitely bullish bias. Next major target is at this area here. So if we can get some pullbacks, that's fantastic. If not, all well. So we'll keep an eye on dollar CAD. But bullish bias for me. Gold, I'll quickly go over next. Thanks very much for adding up knowledge. No problem. Happy to help, Marvin. I'm long Euro USD, but downside is likely. My entry was really tight, so I can put my stop at break even. Nice. Again, if you're going to go counter trends, it's always going to be a bit more difficult. But again, there's nothing wrong about going counter trend, but you're just going to have less success on the win rate, but oftentimes you can get better risk reward because if you do catch the low, price can really rip in your direction. But price at break even, let price do what it needs to do. If it goes in your favor, it goes in your favor. Stops you at break even, stops you at break even. Talking about your Telegram, bro, I'm blocked. I can't send a chat. I don't know why. Since I joined, I've tried to send a couple messages, but it denies. Okay, I'll go take a look at that. So you can access the chat, but you can't send messages. Since I've joined, I tried to send a couple of messages, but it denies. Are you in the right one? As in not. There's two Telegrams. There's one which is obviously the one I can only send, and there's a second one, which is a group discussion. But I will look into that if that's the case. Euro pound, please. I'm enter buy right now. Okay, I'll quickly have a look see because you seem urgent. I've analyzed Euro pound and I said it just basically looks like consolidation. I can see why you've entered the buy here. Looking at the retest of this area, presumably. It makes sense. Again, if the trade fails, it fails. If it wins, it wins. You always have to be taking trades with the outlook that, okay, whatever trade I take, no matter how good the opportunity is, it may work or may fail. As long as you manage your risk appropriately, 1 or 2% or even less, then there's not going to be much damage done in your account. So, if it wins, if it losses, as long as you've done something logically that fits the plan that you're following, if you have a plan, then there's nothing wrong here. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the price action. It's kind of within consolidation. So my analysis for Euro pound at the beginning of the stream was pretty much, I hope that price can eventually break for the lows here. Then I'll start looking for some pullbacks to short. In this area here, I'm kind of just staying away. Not that you can't find a successful trade in there, but I just don't want to trade in those conditions because I know my strategy works a lot more when I'm seeing trending conditions. So with Euro pound here, we could hold that level. We could push through. It does make sense. And at the same time, we could not. So yeah, if that's the reason why you've entered the trade, it makes sense. We'll see how the trade plays out. But again, I'm not a fortune teller. I can't say if the trade's going to win or fail. All I can say is that these conditions are quite poor. They're very choppy. This is not the best place to take a break and retest. You know, if you can have two conditions, consolidation, you try to take a break and retest in these conditions versus a trending conditions, you know, these break and retests will have a lot more success. So this is where you want to focus more of your break and retests on in a trend, because you know you've got a lot of momentum in your direction. The chances are sellers are going to be successful here and push price down. Although the break and retest here could work as well, but you can see the momentum's kind of just sideways. So there's a high chance of fake outs and just weird movements, and it's just very difficult to get, you know, consistent you know, quality trades in these areas. And a simple break and retest may work well in these conditions, but not as well in these conditions. So my advice to you would be, because that's kind of the reason probably why you're taking the trade, going forward, maybe experiment taking more trades in these conditions versus those. And I think you'll probably have a lot more success with them. So yeah, that's kind of my outlook on Euro Pound. But in terms of direction, I would say I'm still bearish on it because that's the trend. But yeah, the price action is very choppy, so I'm kind of staying away from Euro Pound for now. And gold, I am looking at some buys. It's definitely not bullish. I'm not looking at buys just yet. I'm waiting for price action to develop. But what I'm looking at is this big inverse head and shoulder, and I'm just kind of waiting for price to either break through the neckline or give me some good buy setups down here. Again, this is still definitely the more aggressive trade here around 1940, trying to anticipate that right shoulder. It definitely is aggressive. Reason being, we do have a bearish trend here. And again, I like to trade with structure, not against it. So I need to see some really good signs down here if I'm going to get to any buys. If not, I'll stay patient and just wait for the neckline to go, and then look for some buys in the break and retest somewhere to take some longs. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for on gold. And if we don't hold 1940 and keep breaking through, then of course I'll look for some pullbacks to retest some structure and look for the next low high, force it off to these lows. So pretty flexible with what could happen with gold. I'm not trying to marry a bias, even though I do favor upside, because again, that's the direction of the higher time frames as well. So I do favor that inverse head and shoulder playing out and a bigger move higher. But I'm not trying to jump in just because that's my bias. You know, I need to wait for a good trade that fits the plan, and then I'll jump in. If it doesn't, then we break structure. You know, I can go both ways too. But I am waiting for buys for gold. But yeah, the conditions are not right just yet. So I'll probably be waiting a while. I feel losers sometimes also, bro, after some losses. I think it is some conscious understanding that will help, I think. So you choose to not taking that on consideration and focusing on positive thoughts. Yeah, I mean, you do have to kind of nudge your thoughts into the right direction, because they could easily slip in the wrong direction as well. They can easily slip in the wrong direction after loss, even after a win as well. You know, that overconfidence could be someone's downfall as well. You know, if you're taking trades and you two, three nice wins, you know, you get overly confident. You might take a trade outside your plan just because everything's in your favor right now, and you feel like you can understand the market very well. And then the market will humble you shortly after. The same thing with the losses as well. You're taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losers, and you know, that could knock someone off their course. But you have to kind of, you know, force yourself back on that path and keep taking the next step. And again, as long as you've got that proof that your system works, then all you have to do is just follow that system, which is very easily said, but difficult to do when you're actually in that situation. Anton, yeah, it's looking a little bit bearish on the 15. We are seeing some nice downside there, but again, I'm not the biggest fan of the kind of price action we're seeing here. Maybe you can get a break and retest of these lows. That does make sense. Thank you so much, Music Fly Official, for subscribing. Appreciate it. So yeah, there could be some nice shorts on the break and retest there. That does make sense, to be fair. But yeah, I am bearish on Euro. Intraday at least. Manny, do you recommend any online journal to keep track of trades? Yeah. I mean, I'm currently using Edgewonk at the moment, which I need to kind of suss out how to actually work properly. I know how to use it roughly, but there's a lot more to it. So Edgewonk's not bad. My FX book is not bad as well. My FX book is not bad. There's a few others that I've heard of look good. Swift Journal looks good. TradeZella looks good as well. I haven't used them. I've just kind of seen kind of online, which is one thing, but using it could be another. So I would go look into them in a bit more detail. But yeah, there's some few there look good as well. Or you can do it old-fashioned, just well, not really old-fashioned, but Excel. I mean, old-fashioned probably be like pen and paper, but you can just use Excel. I used Excel for quite a long time and it would work perfectly fine as well. Obviously, you had to write some stuff out. Notion's pretty good. It's not really specific for traders, but there's very, very many formats you can use. You can create tables, whatever. Very easy to write notes and stuff, and it's pretty flexible to use as well. So Notion, which is free, you can look into that too. Pound yen, okay, we'll take a look. Lemon, hi Miko, Trading said you had converted to Islam. Wait, what? Trading Nick said I converted to Islam. When did he say that? And who asked him that? Yeah, that's a weird one. Anyway, Euro yen to reverse higher in my absolute opinion. Is that what it stands for? Yeah, I mean, I'm bullish on Euro yen. I did say it would be nice to come in a little bit deeper into the zone before looking for some longs. But yeah, I do think there's still upside, because again, it's still bullish on the higher time frames. We are failing at the highs there, so I wouldn't be too aggressive with the targets, trying to look for the breakouts above it. But yeah, I'm definitely bullish from Euro yen and pound yen as well. 181 is what I'm looking for my buys. Not too sure if we'll get it. We are retesting some structure here, which could just send us to the upside, but I know I've got a lot more confidence down here, so that is what I'm waiting for, and we'll see if it happens. Johnny Rope, hey Miko, how did you do those reels with your webcam and your monitor on Instagram? I use Canva. So I just basically separate my monitor from my webcam, and then it's very, very, very simple, to be fair. I'm no tech genius, to be fair. It's very, very simple. Just two videos, one of my face, one of the audio of my analysis, and then I just put it on top of each other. When you get to it, it's pretty straightforward. Dollar CAD on hour to swing by New York session. Well, I'm looking for retracement for dollar CAD, but I'm very bullish on the pair. I took a massive loss. My stop loss had one decimal place wrong. Lol. I was painting my house. I didn't want to get paint on my keyboard, and then I forgot about the news. Oh, that's not a pleasant situation. What's up, Toka? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Welcome. Yeah, that is a difficult situation. Again, there's gonna be a lot of tests like that. In trading. That's kind of out of place. Like, people think that once you hit profitability, everything is just like smooth sailing. Like, you're just rolling in profit, and it's just onwards and upwards. And I can tell you, from my experience at least, it's definitely not like that. Profitability is still kind of a bit of a seesaw. It's an upward seesaw, but it's definitely a seesaw. There's definitely downs, there's definitely ups. And even, after 6 years, there's still many downs, there's still many ups. Obviously, they're a lot easier to navigate through, but it's not just the upward trajectory. You're going to experience downs, you're going to experience even losses, like even just taking a trade that doesn't really fit your plan, but you took it anyway. Even those which don't happen often, but they still do happen, and you're gonna be upset with yourself. How could you do that? And things happen like that. And also even some weird stop losses, like not too long ago, I got stopped out. Spread widened from the weekend. I was holding a position over the weekend, and the spread widened quite a lot. It was like on a CAD Swiss pair or Euro Swiss, and the spread widened, tagged me out the trade, and the trade eventually went to hit my first take profit. But because of the spread over the weekend, knocked me out of the position, and even from a technical standpoint, it never failed, but the spread widened quite a lot and took me out of the position. So you're going to have niggles like that, which are going to come around, which are not ideal, but all part of the game. Anyway, so completely forgot what pair I was going to take a look at. I just took a look at pound yen. That's what I'm looking at, pound yen for. Dollar yen, okay, we'll take a look. Toka, are you bullish, bearish on dollar yen? Let us know. Lendl, what is up? Mind having a look at pound NZD and SP 500? Sure. Do you trade session? I look to trade London and New York session, but I don't trade kind of within the session. That's just the time I look for my entries. I'm more of a swing trader, so I will hold my trades overnight and over multiple days, if possible. But I do take my trades during London, New York. Okay, Euro AUD, we'll take a look as well. EuroCAD enter long, okay. First TP 1.5, we'll make sure we'll take a look at that too. How many years experience? I've got over 6 years, just gone recently. But yeah, over 6 years since I was first introduced into trading. When I'm trying to get funded, if you have perhaps on the moment, like you try to get a small funded account if you can manage it well. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, using funded accounts, to be fair, in terms of practicing your risk management, I think it will be actually a big help, to be fair. Because obviously with funded accounts, there's obviously less wiggle room, and you have to be very, you have to be very disciplined, to be fair. Because obviously if you don't abide by the rules, the account's taken away from you. So it definitely will kind of give you that extra kind of oomph to make sure you do focus on that discipline. Whereas with personal account, you know, if you risk a little bit more, there's no kind of max drawdown limit, maybe apart from the one you give yourself, which again, you don't necessarily have to stick to either. You should stick to it, but again, whether you stick to it or not, you know, there's no kind of someone enforcing that. With the funded account, you have to. If you don't, the account's just not yours anymore, or you don't pass the challenge either. So from that perspective, maybe a fund account could be a nice way to go through, especially if you don't want to lose any more of your own money as well. But of course, the end goal is definitely just to have a big personal with the freedom to trade how you want to trade. But you know, you got to display the discipline to trade that, because you have to have confidence with yourself that you're not going to do anything stupid and lose that personal account. Because obviously with a funded account, you know, the capital's not yours in the first place, but personal is, so you don't want to lose that. Anyway, so I was going to look at dollar yen. Okay, so yeah, dollar yen, I'm still pretty bullish on dollar yen. It looks like we've seen some downsides, so I'm looking at some retracement for price to go higher. So my targets for dollar yen are back at the highs at 144.500, 145. That's where I'm looking for dollar yen to head to next. I like the areas of 142, 141 look good for some retracements and pullbacks for some long positions. So a retest of that high and a retest of this high there as well. This is where we had a nice aggressive sell-off and the market broke through. So I really like this level to long, and I also do like this level to long here too. And I'm looking at this downside here as just a correction. It's looking a little bit bullish now. It may just start flying if it wants to, but these are looks like some solid levels to go long, and that's the next destination in my books for dollar yen. Again, higher time frames for me still giving me these higher highs and higher lows. You've got a low there, high, higher low, higher high, possibly the next higher low. So now I'm looking at revisiting those highs there too. So yeah, dollar yen has a lot of confluence from higher time frames as well. And I like the price action. This looks like a big double bottom, so now I'm just expecting price to push to the high. So yeah, I'm bullish on dollar yen going forward. Okay, S&P pound NZD was next, I'm pretty sure. No. Okay, so yeah, S&P 500 and pound NZD. We'll take a look at the next. Pound NZD has been very, very choppy. You will improve your discipline and the confidence, because if you can manage a 10k, it will not be that hard to manage a 100k. Yeah, and I also feel like with the funded account, at least from my experience so far, it doesn't really feel real. To be fair, it doesn't really feel real. Like obviously 10k, 100k, that's a lot of money. And if that was your personal money, you know, you'd be a bit on edge a little bit, especially if you're not used to trading that size. But with the funded account, at least from my experience, it just feels like a demo account. It doesn't really feel real. So taking a loss doesn't really hurt, to be fair. It doesn't really hurt. I mean, maybe when I'm funded, it will probably feel different, to be fair. But definitely taking a loss on my personal and loss on the funded account, big difference. At least from my experience so far. Hey, appreciate it, Jose. Appreciate it. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like. It really does help out the channel, and I really do appreciate it. And also subscribe as well if you are new and enjoying the channel too. Make sure you do check out the Telegram in the description. I do share my trades there, and also my watch list for the week and videos I create. So feel free to check it out if you want to stay in the loop. But yeah, thank you to everyone who's liked and subscribed so far. Even with the massive loss, I was still profitable this month. It is a good lesson. I would rather do it now. Soon it will be a big money. Of course, better to correct the mistakes now than later. Because again, trading is one of those things. If you don't correct the mistake, you might get away with it, but it's going to end up costing you quite a lot in the future. It's simple, like you not following your trading plan. You might get away with it. You might get a win. You might do it again. You might get another win. But eventually that's going to cost you a lot of money later. Maybe you scale capital and then you do it again. And then this time it ends up in a loss. You do it again. This time it ends up in another loss. And then you start losing your clarity. So it will come back to bite you eventually. But my FX book requires you to use it. No, my FX book, you can use pretty much whichever broker you're using. There's no requirement to use any type of broker. You just write in your login details, password, whatever, and then it connects your broker your trading to my FX book dashboard thing. So yeah, you don't have to use its brokers. I've been seeing Notion lately. Yeah, I've been using Notion for probably about a year and a half now. Very, very good software, free as well. There's obviously some paid things you can use, but I've been using it for free and it works perfectly fine. So I'm a big fan of it, to be fair. Wow, unlucky at the time I reminded, entered the wrong lot size and blew half my account on spread cost. That is painful. That is painful. It's always the mistakes which you do it. It's always the mistakes which you do it accidentally. You know, sometimes when you purposely risk more in a trade, then it doesn't go wrong. It's kind of like it's a punishment for what I did there. But it's the trades which you risk more accidentally, or maybe forget to place a stop loss accidentally. Those mistakes can be very trouble. Getting funded doesn't appeal to me at all. I can fund myself. I'm just not ready yet, but I'm getting there. That's perfectly fine as well. That's perfectly fine. Your funding accounts is just a path you can go down. Personal accounts, a path you can go down. Investor capital is a path you can go down as well. You know, all three paths offer different solutions and have different obstacles in the way. And we're all in it to do the same goal. You know, make money from trading. That's what we're all here for. Every single person on the stream is here to make a profit from trading. You know, whether it's from X, Y, Z, it really doesn't matter. If you're making profit from trading, you know, you're doing better than 90% of the people. And it's not even the fact that you're doing better than 90% of the people. You know, that's the reason you came here. You didn't come into trading to do better than 90% of people. You didn't do that. You came here to make a profit. So if you're doing that, you know, in my books, you're winning. Anyway, so S&P pound NZD, let's take a look. Okay, so S&P 500 market looks like it's starting to fade at the highs here. Okay, we've got a big old level of support here. The market is testing this level, and if it does break, it might be the start of some downside, because we have been creating higher highs here for S&P. As we can see here, market's been pushing up, creating higher highs and higher lows. However, of recent times, we've obviously just placed a lower high here, and now the market's come back into that same support. If we do break through this area here, that's a sign that, okay, structure is breaking, we're printing lower lows, now lower highs, big support has broken through. We'll be expecting a lower high to present and a sell-off to the downside. This is kind of like a neckline. It's kind of like a weird head and shoulder, if you will, but it kind of fits the mold of it. But yeah, if we start breaking through this, then I'll be looking for the next lower high, after that lower low, next lower high, and then yeah, sell off to the downside. And again, I'm looking at this just as purely retracement. The market is still very, very bullish. I think we're coming to some major levels on the left here, so I do think retracement is likely. We've got a nice little level down here which we haven't retested either, so we might just see some downsides come back and retest this area and possibly be back on our buys again. So I don't think it's a reversal in the sense that we'll just kind of come down now. We could do, of course, but the market is still very bullish, and a pullback to retest this area here, it kind of still just, there's nothing kind of changed about the trend there, apart from on the lower time frames, but higher time frames still very bullish. So yeah, if we start breaking through these lows, 45.333, yeah, 45.33, we can look for some pullbacks, maybe retest that area, maybe a little bit higher, retest some structure here, and then look for some sales to the downside. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for S&P. And pound NZD, last time I looked at this was consolidation. Looks like we're starting to break to the upside now. If we can clear the highs here, I do think we do have room to the upside. You can see pound NZD has been printing successive higher lows here, equal lows there. We've been consistent with these higher lows. So I do think for this one, the direction is to the upside. If you do scale to the higher time frames, daily, you can still see prices in that uptrend as well. So I do like the buys for pound NZD, but we do need to clear the consolidation, breakout, really push away. We have closed above, but again, it's by a few pips. So I don't really like it. I want price to really break away and then come back and retest. This is prone to fake outs. But at the same time, if we can break through, retest, I do like the buys there. Looking for the next higher low and then continuations higher. The only thing with pound NZD is that we're very high up right now, and there's kind of no kind of key level target because we're kind of already trading at the highs here, as you can see. So the next kind of main target above that is actually this wick all the way up there. So with pound NZD, I'll say focus on the psychological levels as targets in the meantime, because there's no kind of structure to aim for. So you got 2.1 just above us, you got 2.105, 2.11, 2.115, 2.12. Those could be some nice targets for TPs, or maybe like a fib extension or something like that, or something else you can use. But there's no kind of clear-cut target above these highs here. So maybe the psychological levels have to come in. But in terms of the analysis, it does look like price is getting ready for a breakout. And above that, I do think there's some mileage to the upside. Similar opportunity to dollar CAD as well. As you see with dollar CAD kind of consolidation, but was creating these successive higher lows. And now we had the breakout. Now looking for the retest, and again, continuation to the upside, except dollar CAD, we've got some structure to play with and some targets that make sense. Pound NZD, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere if we do break to the upside. But it's a similar pattern, Miko, yesterday I found a crack of Edgewonk 2 for free. Should I put the download link here? Yeah, you can do, to be fair. You can do. Again, I'm just getting used to the software, to be fair. But yeah, you can put the link here. Yeah, Yes, Miko, please. Those CHF pairs always take me out after the weekends. Yeah, the CHF pairs, their spreads after new daily candle closures, and especially after the weekend, very, very dangerous. So I kind of have it in my kind of rule book now that if I'm in a Swiss pair and I'm holding it over the weekend, if I'm near my stop loss or near entry, I normally will take my stop loss off, which is not really dangerous. It's not really dangerous, but unless something crazy was to happen over the weekends. But even if something crazy does happen over the weekends and the market gaps in my favor, my stop loss wouldn't even come into play anyway. It will take me out eventually, but even if my stop loss was like at 1%, I could still end up losing 3 or 4 if it's a big gap. So with a stop loss or without a stop loss doesn't really make too much of a difference, but it definitely could help from the spread perspective. But yeah, CHF pairs do have that a lot. And Forex, I've been bullish in the last couple of days, and I entered the short last night, but unfortunately the pullback gap fill got me through the night. I'm bearish now, waiting for a sell. Okay. And then hopefully bearish dollar when ADP comes out. Previous is for, yeah, I saw that last night. 39,800. Where is that? 139,800. Ooh, that's a big push down these lows here. Possibly. I mean, it also depends what yen's gonna do, to be fair. But yeah, I'm still pretty bullish with dollar yen, so I'm going up against you, Toka. Even though I probably won't trade dollar yen, but my bias is definitely opposite to yours. But yeah, we will see. I mean, with dollar, I'm keeping my eye on dollar. I don't necessarily have a set in stone bias with dollar at the moment because I'm keeping an eye on the daily candle here. If it does pull back, then yeah, I do favor some sales for DXY, which could help dollar yen to the downside. But with the price action with dollar yen, seeing those higher highs and higher lows, the break of structure, I've got to favor buys with that analysis. Of course, if price starts breaking through some structure and we start seeing some low lows, low highs, I'll retake a look and go back to the drawing board. But at the moment, I'm favoring some buys. So we will see. I disagree. I think I need to fund it more. I'm not losing anything. I can't miss. My account was much higher before. I had to take it out to pay bills. I haven't bothered refunding it. Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. I mean, no one knows your situation better than you. Obviously, we can give advice and stuff, but yeah, no one knows your situation like you do. So at the end of the day, we can give advice, but you take which bit of advice you want to use and discard which you don't want to use, whichever is appropriate to your situation. So yeah, all I can say is just manage risks, especially personal account. Manage risks. You don't want to lose money that you, number one, can't afford to lose, but number two, that is just unnecessarily big amount. If the confidence is not there and in the weird place you're trading, which people do get into some time to time, the best thing to do is just lower the risk and play it safe. You don't have to make money now. You don't have to make money this month or next month. Protection of your capital is the number one thing, more important than making money as well. I'd rather protect my capital and not make a dime than lose my capital trying to make double my account size. So yeah, just protect the capital. That's the only thing I would say. But of course, you know your situation better than any of us. Yeah, I will actually be on Nick's channel again today. So if anyone wants to see more of my analysis or see my face some more, I will be with on Trading's Nick channel again today at 1 p.m. UK time. 1:10 UK time, 1 p.m. 1:10 UK time. So yeah, feel free to pop in. I'll drop a link in the Telegram anyway. Okay, I'll go for a few more pairs. We are coming up to the end of the stream. I probably missed out a bunch of pairs today. I do apologize. There's been a lot of messages. I've been trying to keep up with the messages. I'm not saying don't put messages in the chat as well. So yeah, I'll take a look at Euro USD, Nasdaq as well. Okay, I'll take a look at ADJPY since I haven't looked at that one too on the stream yet. Do you think the DXY is overbought? Maybe. It might be overbought, to be fair. But again, there's a difference between overbought and then, selling off. Something can be overbought, but it can still move to the upside another, 2, 3, 4, even a week worth more bullish candles to the upside before it actually does see some downside too. So, yeah, I probably would agree. Maybe it is overbought a little bit, but I wouldn't take that into consideration too much and just start looking for sales. Being overbought or oversold is a confluence, and that's as much I'll go with that. Okay, so I'll finish up on AJPY, Euro USD, and Nasdaq. Okay, so AUDJPY. So yeah, this one actually sold quite aggressively. I wasn't expecting that from AUDJPY, but in hindsight, we do obviously have these successful lower highs. I just wasn't expecting price to respect it since we had such an aggressive comeback from that downside move. But anyway, the market has respected that pretty well. So with AUDJPY, it looks like we do have a bit of a downtrend at play here now. The market is successive with these lower lows and obviously with the lower highs as well. And now it's coming back in respect to that area. There's a good chance we're going to come back into this support level here at 93,500. So in my book, there does look like a nice intraday opportunity if the market's kind enough to retrace. We've got a brief period of consolidation there. If the market can come back and retest this area here, that looks like a nice little sell back down to that support level. Potentially, we could be looking at a push back down to these lows here, potentially. But this low here looks pretty high probability since we've had a very nice respect of those highs there. So a nice pullback. We broke through a lot of momentum. Haven't got the retest yet. This is like a solid level to look for some retracement and some shorts and some entries. And then yeah, you got pretty neat, tidy targets to aim for there as well. Again, probably like hourly or maybe 30-minute time frame to take your entries just to maximize risk reward. But I do like the opportunity here with AUDJPY back to 93,400. So yeah, bearish bias here. Bearish bias here for AUDJPY for now from an intra-week perspective. Not too sure going forward, but I do favor push back to 93,300. So we'll see how that goes. NAS 100, like I said, for this one, there's a couple of areas which look good for buys. Looks like the market is reacting quite bullish to that level there. That's a very nice reaction there, actually. So yeah, if the market can sustain this level, I do expect to see that next bullish move to the upside. Again, at least back to the highs there, and then potentially the highs there as well. If we break back underneath and this this level fails, then there's also this area here too. So there's two areas that look good to long for US 100 NAS. Obviously the break and retest of this level for some longs, and also the break and retest of this area here as well. So if that can just hold, that's a nice entry candle to be fair. Then I do expect to see more upside back to the highs eventually. If it does fail, then you can have another stab back down here, which makes sense as well. Big impulse here, correction 1, correction 2, kind of looking at a nice bull flag there, looking for the next wave to the upside. So that there's the plan for NAS. And Euro USD going for this one hasn't really done too much today. Yeah, since we last spoke about it, still kind of in the same spot. But yeah, for Euro USD, bearish bias as well. Nice sell-off last week. I'm looking at a nice kind of correction here, kind of giving us a bear flag, and look at the next impulse to the downside. So we got a little bit of appears to be maybe a consolidation. The market didn't break through the lows here yesterday, which I was expecting price to do. Pound USD did, but Euro didn't. So I'm looking to see maybe if we can have one more up move, then the sell-off, respect the highs, then the sell-off. But I am kind of still bearish on Euro USD. Still seeing lower lows and lower highs here. So that's still the direction I'm looking at. But again, I would be careful because higher time frames are still bullish. So I wouldn't be trying to be too aggressive with the shorts, just in case we do form a higher low at some point and start looking for another dart to the upside. That is still definitely a big possibility. So I do like the sales, but coming back into some of these levels, I would advise taking profit. Definitely these lows here. So yeah, that's kind of my outlook for Euro USD. If I do get into any positions, guys, I will let you know. I will let you know in the Telegram. So make sure you go check it out if you want to see. But yeah, guys, nothing really cooking for me at the moment, to be fair. There are a couple pairs got my eye on, but they've got a lot of work to do before I actually get an entry. Need to see some retracement. But I'll let you guys know if I do get anything, of course, in the Telegram group. So feel free to check it out. If you have enjoyed this stream, guys, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And obviously subscribing keeps you in the loop, and hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Take care, have a great day, and like I said, I will be live again later today in about an hour from now, pretty much actually. I'll be live again on Trade Nick's channel. If not, I'll see you tomorrow on my channel, same time as usual.
What?